Discover why the miraculous path to love requires divine revelation, not just feeling it real. In the quiet village of Marydale, something extraordinary brewed in the hearts of its residents. As Sarah knelt by her bed, praying for love amid the flickering light of a solitary candle, she felt a stirring unlike any other. The air thickened with divine anticipation, whipping her breath into spiritual urgency. It was the week the pastor proclaimed a time of prayer for love and relationships, a sacred journey of faith. Sarah felt the fire ignite within her soul, and for the first time in years, hope surged as she yearned earnestly for divine intervention. On the first night of prayer, the atmosphere crackled with holy energy. As Sarah raised her voice, the soft hum of her fellow parishioners interceded, sending waves of palpable intent upwards, mingled with gratitude and longing. In that moment, she saw a vision, sparks of gold dancing in the air like heavenly embers, illuminating her pain with glimmers of possibility. Tears streamed down her cheeks, unleashing burdens she had carried for far too long. But as the night wore on, joy transformed into an underlying anxiety. Would God grant her longing? Would it be her time? Each evening blended into the next, with Sarah fervently seeking the intercession of St. Jude, the patron saint of seemingly hopeless causes. The community rallied together in family gatherings, sharing stories of love and remnants of happiness. Yet, amidst the glow of connection surrounding her, Sarah felt distant, an outsider with a heart alive yet aching. Did God hear her? She whispered prayers into the still English nights. Please, let love find me again. Yet, the twinkle of romance between her friends only deepened her solitude. The notion that she needed a mighty sign transformed into an ever-present burden, intensifying her spiritual wrestling. What did divine timing look like? Could it pierce the fog of her doubt? One evening, Sarah succumbed to despair. She attended a church service, clenching her hands, pleading for comfort. The warmth of candlelight engulfed her, and she could feel her community's spirit cradling her. Her heart still ached, though, with hollow loneliness. After the service, she knelt before the altar, pouring her soul into fervent prayer. Lord, grant me a sign. Just a glimpse that love will bloom in my life again. Suddenly, an elderly woman approached, her eyes sparkling like stars. Dear one, she spoke, voice smooth as honey, patience is key. Love comes to those who await it with faith. Her words rippled through Sarah as warmth enveloped her heart, though doubt quivered in the back of her mind. Could she truly trust this promise? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days slipped by, tension between faith and questioning leaving Sarah restless. Unexpected encounters with people from her past rewove frayed bonds, moments where laughter echoed and affection soaked into the cracks of her heart gave her hope. Was the divine weaving a new tapestry in her life? Yet just as she began to believe, shadows loomed ahead, an unforeseen twist threatening to shatter the fragile expectations she cradled. As the village swelled with love, would Sarah's heart find its place in the tapestry? Or would she stand once more at the precipice of doubt, yearning for a revelation that could change everything? The echoes of her prayers seemed to linger, alive in the air, waiting. The promise of something greater lay just beyond her reach, igniting both hope and trepidation in her spirit. As dawn broke over Marydale, the village glowed under a gentle haze. Sarah awoke with a mix of anticipation and concern. The elderly woman's words still lingered in her heart, warming her with a flicker of hope. Patience, a word both comforting and daunting at once. Compelled by an unknown force, Sarah decided to visit the chapel early that morning. With the sun's rays spilling through the stained glass, she felt a surge of divine energy. The peace enveloped her like a soft embrace. Kneeling once more at the altar, she poured out her heart, feeling everything unsaid and unacknowledged flow into the sacred space. Each heartfelt word became a candle, illuminating the shadows of her longing. Lord, I surrender my fears to you. help me trust in your timing." As she whispered those words, the chapel filled with a gentle breeze, rustling the pages of an open Bible nearby. It was a natural occurrence, yet it felt profoundly spiritual, as if God himself was responding to her plea. Days cascaded into one another as the prayer gatherings continued, and Sarah found comfort in the consistent rhythm of community worship. With every shared testimony, her barriers began to soften, unveiling threads of compassion and camaraderie. Yet her heart still craved the missing piece of revelation, a spark that would illuminate her path to love. On one particular night, a soft rain began to fall outside, tapping rhythmically against the chapel windows. Within, the congregation swayed gently, led by the pastor's nurturing voice. "Tonight, we're inviting the Spirit to reveal our heart's desires," he proclaimed, his eyes glimmering with sincerity. People began to speak, sharing their hopes and fears, laughter and tears blending into one beautiful melody of faith. Sarah sat, listening intently, until a surge of courage swept over her. She stood, heart pounding in her chest, and spoke, "I've been seeking love, but I feel lost, unsure if I deserve it." The crowd hushed, each face filled with empathy. "Dear one," the pastor said, his voice steady and kind, "you are worthy of love, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are, God's creation. Trust that He knows your heart." In that moment, a wave of warmth washed over her, dispelling the chill of her doubts. The church, saturated in prayer, felt like a safe haven, a sacred space that cradled her fragile hopes. But still, an inner conflict raged within her. Was her heart truly ready for love? Could she navigate the depths of vulnerability that came with it? The noise of questions echoed in her mind like a distant bell tolling. Just as her resolve felt it might waver again, a radiant light flickered through the chapel, illuminating the space around her. Oh, how she longed to chase that light! With the gentle echo of the pastor's affirmations and the congregation's trust surrounding her, she could almost reach out and grasp it. And yet, fear tightened its grip, whispering a steady refrain in her ears. "What if you're disappointed once more?" Sarah knelt, breathing in deeply. "God, I'm waiting, but prepared for whatever you choose. I trust in your love and timing." Outside, the rain began to lighten, and the first glimmers of twilight danced in the sky. There was a stillness in the air, a hush that hinted at divine activity. Was change brewing beneath the surface? That night, sleep eluded her. Instead, she found herself pondering what was to come. She had opened a door, but what might step through? Would it be the love she yearned for, or a trial that would further cultivate her patience? As the stars twinkled overhead, uncertainty sang in her heart. A newfound resolve began to blossom alongside the restlessness. And she could not shake the feeling that something marvelous was being prepared just for her. What revelation might the dawn bring? Would it unveil love, or would she face an unexpected challenge that could reshape her understanding of faith? The dawn broke, casting soft hues across the horizon. Sarah stirred in her bed, a strange mixture of anticipation and trepidation swirling within her. As the sun peeked through her window, illuminating the room, she felt an awakening not just in the day but in her spirit. The promise of something profound lingered in the air. Quickly, she dressed and made her way to the chapel. Each step felt like a prayer, a silent offering to the day ahead. Upon entering, a hush fell over her, a sacred quietness that vibrated with expectancy. The familiar scent of old wood and incense wrapped around her, grounding her. Was this the day? As she kneeled at the altar, Sarah closed her eyes and breathed deeply. "Lord, I feel the weight of waiting. I trust in your timing, but my heart is weary." Tears pooled in her eyes, dropping softly onto the cool floor beneath her. She sensed the presence of something larger than herself, a warmth enveloping her from within. "Sarah," a gentle voice whispered. She opened her eyes, startled to see the pastor standing beside her. "I felt led to speak with you. God has a message for you this morning." Her heart raced. "A message?" "Yes," he said, lowering his voice. "He wants you to know that the season of preparation is vital. It's not just about receiving what you desire, but understanding the depth of love He is crafting for you." His words hung in the air, tangible and real. As he spoke, the chapel's atmosphere shifted, thickening with a sense of purpose. The light streaming through the stained glass seemed to shimmer with a new intensity. Sarah felt a stirring in her heart. Was it hope? Love isn't just about the moment you find it, he continued, his eyes searching hers. It's about becoming the person God created you to be. The love you seek is being cultivated within you, through every prayer, every act of faith. Tears streamed down Sarah's cheeks, but now they felt like cleansing rain rather than sorrow. But what if I mess up? What if I'm not ready? She choked out, vulnerability cracking her voice. Trust in His love, the pastor replied softly, a knowing smile on his face. It's not about perfection. It's about submission. God never leaves us alone to navigate our path. At that moment, the chapel transformed. The light, once gentle, burst forth in brightening colors that danced across the walls. Sarah felt as if she were being wrapped in a divine embrace, a reminder that God had not lost sight of her, nor her desires. But the pull of doubt still tugged at her mind. How do I know it's truly God? How do I avoid disappointment again? Faith, he answered simply. It's the assurance of things hoped for. Sometimes, the waiting brings us closer to what we need. As they prayed together, a profound peace flooded Sarah's heart. With each heartfelt plea, she felt layers of her fears dissolve. There was a new clarity dawning within her, a recognition that every moment of waiting was purposed, every uncertainty a step toward deeper faith. As she exited the chapel, the vibrant world outside seemed alive with possibility. The birds sang with renewed vigor, and the sun glowed warmly above, as if it too rejoiced in her awakening. But even amidst this newfound clarity, a question still lingered. What would this season of preparation truly entail? What challenges might test her faith, and how would she respond? Just as she thought she had grasped everything, a sudden gust of wind swept through, ruffling her hair and bringing with it the scent of blooming wildflowers. It was a reminder often, God spoke through nature, through the unexpected. Was this a sign of something more? Would love blossom from the depths of her surrender? Sarah took a deep breath, grounding herself in the moment. Every step forward felt like a dance of faith, an unfolding story laden with divine mystery. What new journey awaited her, just around the corner? As Sarah stepped into the fresh embrace of the morning, her heart raced with anticipation of what lay ahead. Each breath was a reminder of her new resolve. The world around her buzzed with energy, a vivid tapestry woven from God's handiwork. A gentle breeze played with her hair, and she felt alive with purpose, ready to embrace whatever revelations awaited her. The path ahead led her towards the small garden that flanked the chapel, a space Sarah often visited for reflection. It was here, amongst the fragrant blooms and rustling leaves, that her heart could settle. The colors of the flowers stood vibrant against the morning light, each petal a testimony of God's creativity. She sank onto a wooden bench, the texture worn and smooth from years of use, and closed her eyes, allowing the ambience to wash over her. Lord, she whispered, I want to embrace the journey you've laid before me. But where do I start? The stillness seemed to wrap around her, heavy with the weight of divine presence. She opened her eyes and gazed at a honeybee hovering near the delicate blossoms. It darted from flower to flower, tirelessly collecting nectar. A thought nudged her heart, even the bee has purpose. What if I embraced this waiting season with the same tenacity? Just as the bee tirelessly worked, perhaps she too was meant to cultivate faith, even when answers were slow to come. The sound of soft footsteps broke her reverie, and a kind voice called out, Sarah. It was Anna, her dear friend from the congregation, her face glowing with warmth and joy. Are you busy? No, I was just lost in thought, Sarah replied, her spirit lifting at the sight of her friend. Mind if I join you? Anna asked, her eyes sparkling. Not at all, Sarah beamed, grateful for the company. As they sat together, Sarah filled Anna in on the pastor's message. Anna listened intently, her expression shifting from concern to encouragement. You know, Sarah, sometimes it's easy to feel lost in our waiting. But I've learned that the waiting itself is a teacher. It helps to sift through our intentions. Right? Sarah chuckled softly. It feels like God is preparing us for something, but the process can be so confusing. Anna nodded. Exactly. But if we lean into the waiting, we can discover who we are meant to be. Think of Abraham. His faith was tested over years, yet it became the catalyst for generations. Sarah's heart warmed at the thought. Here was reassurance in the words of a friend, immense hope and strength packed into the testimony of someone journeying alongside her. I want that kind of faith, Sarah murmured, a spark of determination in her voice. But how do I know I'm really moving in the right direction? Sometimes, it's less about knowing and more about trusting, Anna replied gently. Steps of faith are often taken in darkness. It's in those moments that we learn to lean on God, to listen for His whispers. Emboldened by Anna's words, Sarah looked back toward the chapel, a deep sense of knowing stirring within her. If love is being cultivated in me, then perhaps I need to focus on nurturing my relationship with God first, spending time in prayer, in His Word, in stillness. A newfound resolve settled in her, a commitment to dive deeper into faith rather than merely await its delivery. But just as clarity washed over her, doubt's shadow glimmered faintly at the edge of her thoughts. How could she trust her feelings when they often felt so confused? Anna, what if I make mistakes? What if I misinterpret what God wants? Goodness, that's part of the journey. Trust is built in the struggle, Anna exclaimed, eyes bright. Even the smallest glimmers of faith like a mustard seed are enough. Let God reveal more to you as you step forward. With Anna beside her, Sarah felt the healing power of understanding blossom anew. It wasn't necessary to have all the answers, she could grow through each uncertain moment. As they departed the garden, Sarah caught sight of a rainbow peeking from the clouds, a vibrant arc of color whispering of promises unfulfilled. It stirred something deep within her, a knowing that she was meant for more. She paused, captivated by the beauty above. Could it be a divine sign of the love yet to come? Would her journey lead her to a season of blessings beyond her imagination? As hope flickered like candlelight in her heart, a question lingered, awaiting resolution. What would it take for her to fully embrace the miraculous path toward love? The next morning dawned with a gentle light filtering through Sarah's bedroom window. She awoke, heart still humming with the potential of yesterday's reflections. Soft birdsong danced through the air, as if the heavens were singing her a sweet good morning. With a renewed spirit, she rose, eager to reconnect with her purpose. Today, Lord, let me hear you clearly, she whispered, her voice filled with a quiet determination. After breakfast, she gathered her Bible and notebook, feeling each item in her hands like an invitation to connect. She settled into her favorite chair and opened the scriptures, flicking through pages worn by time and prayer. Suddenly, a passage caught her eye, a reminder that God often speaks when we least expect it, like a candle flickering in the dark. As she read, the words began to leap from the page. For I know the plans I have for you. She paused, letting the promise soak into her heart. In her stillness, she realized faith isn't always about great leaps. Sometimes, it's simply about remaining steady, a lighthouse amidst the storm. With eager anticipation, Sarah felt like a seeker ready to uncover hidden treasures. She spent the morning journaling her thoughts and prayers, pouring out her fears, hopes, and doubts. The more she wrote, the clearer her path became. Questions transformed into answers, swirling around her like the vibrant colors of the trees outside. Just then, a knock interrupted her reverie. It was Anna, her faithful companion. Got time for a chat? She asked, entering with her signature enthusiasm. Absolutely. I was just praying and writing, Sarah replied, her heart swelling with joy at the sight of her friend. They settled into the cozy space, and Anna shared her recent journey, moments of doubt, yes, but always accompanied by immense clarity. It's funny, she began, it's as if the more I question, the more God reveals. It's those doubts that have led to breakthroughs in my faith. Really? Sarah leaned in closer. So, it's okay to doubt? Of course. Anna laughed softly. Doubt is a part of our faith journey. It's what we do with that doubt that matters. Do we let it pull us away, or do we lean into God for the answers? As they contemplated this, Sarah felt a deep sense of peace. It was within this dialogue that the spirit danced, inviting them both to explore deeper. With each question they tossed back and forth, insights flowed freely, like a river gently carving its path through the landscape. Anna's expression turned serious. Have you ever thought about how love isn't just a feeling? It's a commitment, an action we take every day. Embracing love means being willing to take risks. It's about showing up, especially in the tough moments. A light bulb flickered in Sarah's mind. Right. It's not just about waiting for something to happen. It's about participating in the process. Excitement surged within her. This was a revelation. If love was indeed a commitment, then she had to actively seek it not just from others but in how she related to herself and to God. The act of embracing love meant shedding fear and choosing faith every chance she got. As they wrapped up their time together, Anna touched Sarah's arm. Remember, every step you take, even the uncertain ones, is a step toward the miraculous. The sparkle in her friend's eyes ignited hope within Sarah. She watched as Anna walked away, the sound of her steps fading, knowing her heart had been touched by something extraordinary. Sitting in stillness once more, Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of decisions ahead. She wanted to commit to embody the love she sought and to trust in God's unfolding plan. Looking outside, the world seemed vibrant and alive, each color enhanced a masterpiece subtly revealing itself. A thought nudged her: what divine surprises were still to come? Her heart raced at the unknowingness of it all. The rainbow had not disappeared, it hovered in her spirit as a promise. Now, the question pulsed with urgency: what would this journey of active love unveil as she pressed on in faith? As Sarah gazed out at the vibrant colors of the day, she felt a shift deep within. The air was alive, crackling with potential. A soft breeze swept past her cheek, a gentle reminder that the spirit was moving. What would it take for her to open her heart wider, to let love flow freely, not just in her thoughts but through every action? She set her Bible on her lap, its pages still warm from her earlier embrace. What do you want to reveal to me today, Lord? She whispered, feeling a wave of anticipation wash over her. Her eyes fell on the passage she had read earlier. For I know the plans I have for you. Those words resonated in her heart, like a drum echoing through a quiet forest. Could it be that each moment held a thread connecting her to a greater tapestry God was weaving? In her mind, she replayed Anna's words about love being a commitment. The idea danced around her, igniting sparks of inspiration. What if love required both faith and action? Her heart raced as she envisioned tangible ways to express this commitment, not in grand gestures, but in small, intentional choices every day. Suddenly, a thought struck her. There were so many people around her: family, friends, neighbors who might be longing for love just as she was. The world could feel heavy and dark, yet here she was, blessed with a flickering light inside. What if she could be that light for someone else? With renewed zeal, she grabbed her notebook and began to jot down ideas. A simple note for her elderly neighbor, Mrs. Jenkins, who often looked so lonely. A warm, home-cooked meal for her friend Mike, who had recently gone through a rough breakup. A phone call to her sister, just to check in. With each thought that flowed onto the pages, her heart began to settle in a sweet peace, knowing she was ready to step out of her comfort zone. Lord, help me be your hands and feet, she prayed, a quiet confidence wrapping around her like a cozy blanket. Show me how to love actively. As she finished writing, inspiration struck again. She needed to gather a few friends to brainstorm ways they could serve the community. The thought made her pulse quicken. Together, they could spread kindness like seeds in the wind. Standing up, Sarah felt a sudden urge to act on her plans. Today, she declared to herself, I will reach out. I will commit to love, even if it feels uncomfortable. She was determined to move beyond words and feelings, determined to be a living example of the love she had just discovered. Just as that resolve took root, her phone buzzed, interrupting her thoughts. It was a message from Anna, suggesting a group gathering that evening for prayer and fellowship. A smile lit up Sarah's face. Could this be the moment to share her revelations and dreams? Her fingers typed a response, full of enthusiasm and hope. Count me in. Let us gather and ignite love in our hearts. As she pressed send, the air shifted once more. It felt as if the atmosphere around her vibrated with excitement, a divine whisper that reminded her she was not in this alone. She was part of a greater story, a community bound by love. With a heart full of expectation, Sarah made her way outside, ready to embrace whatever the day had in store. The world around her was still buzzing with life, and she could see the potential in every face, every moment. What awaited her that evening? What would unfold in that gathering? The question hung in the air, filled with divine curiosity. Little did she know, the evening would bring profound revelations, shifting her understanding of love in ways she had never imagined. As the hours passed, Sarah maneuvered through her day with renewed purpose. Every interaction held a glimmer of divine opportunity. The sun hung low in the sky, casting warm hues across the neighborhood as she started her mission of love. Her first stop was Mrs. Jenkins' house. Sarah approached the old wooden door, her heart racing with anticipation. She knocked softly, feeling the weight of importance in that simple gesture. When Mrs. Jenkins answered, surprise filled her wistful eyes. "Hello, dear. What brings you here?" the elderly woman asked, her face lighting up. "I thought I'd bring you a little something." Sarah smiled, handing over the colorful card she'd written while feeling the Holy Spirit tug at her heart. "It's just a note to say someone is thinking of you." Mrs. Jenkins perched her glasses on her nose, unfolding the card. Tears glistened as she read the words of encouragement. Sarah had scribbled down words that reminded her she was loved and remembered. "Oh, Sarah. This means so much to me," she exclaimed, her voice trembling with gratitude. A spark of joy ignited in Sarah's heart. She recognized that love is as much about presence as it is about words. With her heart still soaring, she moved on to her next task, helping Mike. He opened the door, looking weary and thin, the shadows underneath his eyes telling stories of sleepless nights. "Hey, I brought dinner," she said, holding out the container of steaming pasta. "Thought you might be hungry." His surprise shifted to gratitude as he accepted the dish. "You didn't have to do this, but I'm really thankful. This is what I need right now." With each exchange, Sarah's spirit thrived. It was as if love was stitching together the frayed edges of a broken world, one act at a time. Her heart felt lighter, filled with a warmth she knew could only come from her commitment to share God's love. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a blanket of stars in the sky, Sarah headed toward the gathering at Anna's. The nervous buzz she had felt earlier mixed with excitement, like butterflies dancing in her stomach. She knocked on the door, and laughter spilled out into the evening air. "Sarah. You made it." Anna's voice broke through the cheerful noise. Nestled in the cozy space were familiar faces, and she felt the Spirit wrap around her, binding them together in that moment. They prayed, each heart unveiling its struggles and dreams. When it was her turn, Sarah shared her journey of learning that love was more than a feeling, it was an active choice. "God is showing me how to step beyond my fears. It's about being intentional," she explained, her voice steady. She noticed glimmers of understanding dance in the eyes around her. "Exactly. It's not just feeling loved, but actively choosing to love," Anna added, her voice filled with enthusiasm. As they moved into a time of worship, the atmosphere thickened with warmth. Sweet melodies breathed life into their gathering, weaving their hearts closer to one another and to God. Sarah felt free, the weight of self-doubt lifted away like a feather on the wind. In the midst of song and prayer, a beautiful revelation dawned on Sarah. She began to see love, not as a destination, but as a journey paved with stepping stones of faith. What if each step held a divine purpose? What if every act of love rippled through the lives of others in ways she could not yet see? Just as the doubt began to fade, a whisper echoed in her spirit. "Trust the path, Sarah. Trust that love is a journey leading somewhere amazing." With a heart brimming with faith and expectation, she understood that love was not merely a choice, it was a pathway, one that she was eager to explore. The evening waned, but a question lingered in the air, filling every heart with wonder. What would they discover together on this miraculous journey of love? As Sarah sat amongst her friends, the warmth of love enveloped her like a soft blanket. The songs faded, leaving behind sweet echoes that danced in her spirit. In that radiant space, she could feel God moving, each heartbeat harmonizing with the pulse of the gathering. The question hung with anticipation: what would they discover next? Suddenly, Anna exclaimed, "Let us share stories. Let us talk about how God has led us in our own journeys." Excited murmurs erupted, and Sarah felt a thrill of eagerness course through her veins. This was a perfect chance to delve deeper into how love had manifested in their lives. One by one, her friends shared their stories. As each revelation unfolded, Sarah felt the tapestry of their experiences come together, revealing the divine handiwork behind every thread. Julia spoke of a time when she reached out to a struggling neighbor. Tears welled in her eyes as she recounted the transformation they both experienced. "I never imagined how a simple meal could break down walls," Julia said, her voice trembling with emotion. "But God had a plan. He wanted us to connect, to share our burdens." This resonated deeply with Sarah. The act of love, however small, became a beacon of hope. Each story opened the doorway to understanding how God's grace permeated their lived experiences, not just through grand gestures but through tender moments of vulnerability. Then it was Jackson's turn. He sat back, fingers intertwined, and took a slow breath. "I once felt so lost, like I was wandering aimlessly. My heart ached." They listened intently, leaning forward as he continued, but then, a stranger stopped and offered assistance. "No judgment, just kindness." It stirred something within me. It reminded me that love isn't earned, it's given. A heavy silence settled as his words echoed in the room. Sarah felt a wave of relief washing over everyone, an acknowledgement of shared struggles and mutual reliance on God's grace. Love had woven them together, transforming fear into courage and isolation into community. "We need to be that light for others," Anna said, her eyes sparking with enthusiasm. "The world needs more of that closeness, that vulnerability." Sarah's heart quickened. She recognized the bubbling joy within her. There was divine purpose within these conversations. The realization struck this was what God had intended. They were not only sharing stories, but they were building a foundation, a commitment to love actively and intentionally in their everyday lives. As the night deepened, laughter mixed with tears, and prayer swelled around them like a tide. Each person was pouring their spirit into this sacred gathering, an exchange of encouragement and hope that felt tangible. In the midst of it all, Sarah's heart sensed a shift, a whisper of something extraordinary yet to unfold. What if this was merely the beginning? With every heart exposed and every truth spoken, she realized love had the power to transcend the ordinary. They closed their gathering with a prayer, hands clasped tightly together. The stillness brought forth a collective yearning, a shared breath awaiting the next step in their journey. Sarah felt an electric pulse of excitement, sensing the presence of God urging them forward. "Let us take this back into the world," she murmured, catching a knowing glance from Anna. The atmosphere buzzed with a holy expectancy, a readiness to respond to the call of love in action. As they slowly began to disperse, leaving a trail of warmth and light behind them, another question blossomed in Sarah's heart, echoing with urgency. What steps would they take next? Would they dare to let love lead them deeper into the unknown? The evening air wrapped around them as they stepped outside, the faint traces of summer warmth lingering in the twilight. Laughter spilled into the night, a sound of joy that danced on gentle breezes. Sarah felt alive, her heart beating in sync with the profound conversations they just shared. Yet with every step forward, a whisper grew louder in her ears: what next? Anna, her face still lit with excitement, turned to Sarah. "I feel like we've tapped into something beautiful tonight. This can't just end here." Her voice trailed off, eyes sparkling with possibilities. Sarah nodded, the weight of Anna's words drawing her deeper into thought. What could they do? There was a world outside this intimate gathering, full of hurting hearts and wandering spirits. Could they really make a difference? The idea stirred inside her. What if we start a community project? Something that brings people together, sharing meals, helping those in need. We could create safe spaces, just like we have here. Jared, who had been quietly listening, piped up. I love that. A chance to show that love isn't just words, it's action. We can encourage others to share their stories too. That idea rippled through the group. Each friend began throwing out suggestions, ideas blending into one another, painting a picture of what their commitment to love might look like. From small gatherings for prayer, to soup kitchens, to mentoring youth, every suggestion was soaked in a deep longing to reach beyond their cozy circle. But as the energy built, Sarah could feel a subtle tension. She recognized it as a mix of excitement and fear. What if they stepped forward and failed? Would they truly be equipped to love others the way God intended? Anna seemed to sense her hesitation. You know, it's not about being perfect or having it all together. It's about stepping out in faith. God doesn't call the equipped, He equips the called. Those words echoed in Sarah's mind. She could see the scripture come alive, the prompting to act, to move forward despite uncertainties. It didn't need to start grand or perfect, just genuine, small acts that pointed back to love. As they stood under the starlit sky, a gentle glow illuminated their faces, each heart open to the divine call. There was a beauty in their vulnerability, a strength in their resolve. They began to pray, voices rising softly in surrender. Lord, guide our hands, soften our hearts. Lead us on this path and show us the way. Each word felt charged with divine purpose. Sarah could feel the presence of God, a spirit of unity wrapping around them like a comforter. It was clear this was more than an idea, it was a movement ignited by love. When they finished praying, a silence fell over the group. Eyes gleamed with shared enthusiasm, yet the sacred quiet also held a profound expectation. What if we spread a ripple of love that shifts hearts and minds? Julia asked, her eyes shining with possibility. Let us create a legacy of love. The suggestion hung in the air, invigorating them all. What if they truly could leave an imprint, not just on their community, but within every soul they encountered? But as they exchanged excited glances, another thought pierced through the excitement. Could they sustain this? How would they navigate hardships, moments of doubt, or the inevitable opposition they might face? In that moment, Sarah understood their next step would require deep prayer and guidance. They needed to ask God for clarity and direction. Let us meet again, Sarah suggested. We need God to lead us clearly on this journey. I want to seek His wisdom before we dive deeper. As they made plans to regroup and seek God together, Sarah felt a holy anticipation building within her. They were on the precipice of something significant, but she could sense the challenge ahead. How would they prepare and walk through the trials that would inevitably arise? The compelling question hung heavy in the night air, illuminating the path ahead. Would they have the courage to trust in God's unfolding plan, despite the uncertainties? The days that followed brought a whirlwind of energy to Marydale. The community buzzed with excitement as Sarah, Anna, and their friends gathered again and again, planning their path forward. Each meeting felt charged with purpose, as they sought God's guidance for the love they wanted to share. As they prayed together, Sarah felt her heart expand, filled with the warm glow of love. It was different now, active, breathing, alive. Each conversation nudged her closer to understanding what true love meant. It was a cycle, a rhythm they were called to dance in daily. One evening, they gathered in the chapel, the walls surrounding them echoing with familiarity. The pastor stood before them, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. We need to remember, he said, voice steady, that what we are undertaking is both beautiful and challenging. Love requires commitment, vulnerability, and above all, faith. A hush fell over the group, their attention unwavering. Sarah absorbed those words, feeling the weight of what lay before them, yet the promise stirred a longing deep inside her. Lord, she whispered, help us embrace both the joy and the struggle. In the days that followed, they began putting their plans into motion. They volunteered at food banks, organized community gatherings, and reached out to neighbors with smiles and open hearts. With each act, Sarah felt more connected to God's love, weaving bonds thicker than she had ever imagined. But, like any journey worth taking, obstacles soon emerged. Some community members were skeptical of their intentions. Why get involved now? An older gentleman questioned during a meeting. People come and go, motives are unclear. How can we trust you? Those words hung heavy in the air, and Sarah's heart sank for a moment, doubt creeping back in. But before she could join the chorus of uncertainty, Anna chimed in. We understand the concern. We are all too familiar with lost trust. But love is worth the risk. Let us show you how. Sarah marveled at Anna's words and felt a surge of hope. That's it. She realized. True love often requires bravery, it's a declaration that we're willing to stand firm. They spent the next few weeks focused on genuine connections, disarming the skepticism through transparency. They invited the community for open discussions, sharing their joy. They facilitated small workshops, connecting through shared stories, building trust one handshake at a time. With each small victory, Sarah's faith deepened. The morning sun cast rays onto their gatherings, illuminating the beauty of connection, a true testament of God's presence within them. One chilly Saturday morning, Sarah awoke with a sense of urgency. She felt a wave of inspiration crash over her. Let us hold an event, a community love feast, she declared with enthusiasm at their next meeting. Let us break bread together, not just a meal but a space to share our stories, laugh, heal, to experience God's love. The group erupted with exhilaration. They discussed logistics, prayerfully covering each detail that would help cultivate an environment of love and inclusion. As the day came, nervous excitement flooded Sarah's heart. The long tables were adorned in twinkling lights, nestled beneath a great oak in the center of Marydale. The vibrant chatter and laughter rose like a sweet fragrance filling the air. Friends and families gathered, each of them a thread in the tapestry of love they had spun together. As she stepped back and took a breath, it was clear God was present among them. Throughout the evening, stories unfolded. Laughter flowed, hearts softened, and walls crumbled. Sarah spotted the skeptical gentleman from before sitting among a new family, his demeanor shifting from hesitant to joyful. I remember when my wife used to cook meals for our neighbors, he shared, his voice thick with nostalgia. We never realized how much those little acts meant. The softening in his voice sparked something beautiful within the gathering. Sarah could see the transformative power of love igniting hearts, wrapping around each soul like a warm embrace. As the night rolled on, she found herself at the epicenter of this newfound hope, a divine sense of fulfillment washing over her. She looked around and saw the faces glowing, fellow parishioners, old friends, and new faces all entwined in a single sacred moment of connection. When it was time for Sarah to share her own testimony, she gently took the stage. We began this journey uncertain if love could truly bridge our gaps, she said, her heart racing with emotion. But tonight, I see it's alive in each of you. Tears glistened in her eyes, and a wave of sincerity washed over every face. Love is not just a feeling, it's a choice we make every day in small and large ways. As applause filled the air, Sarah felt a wave of gratitude for the journey that had led her here. Each moment of doubt, each prayer whispered into the night, had paved the way for this beautiful manifestation of love. That night, as she lay in bed, Sarah felt anew her heart ablaze. God had answered every silent prayer, revealing a truth so pure: love was here, flourishing among them all. With the twinkling stars shining overhead and a heart full of hope, she closed her eyes, surrendering each dream, every desire, into the hands of God. While challenges awaited them, the path ahead now felt illuminated with promise. They would continue to move forward, hand in hand, reflecting His love into the world. Together, they were creating not only moments, but a legacy miles beyond their imagination. And as her heart whispered in gratitude, one certainty lingered within, thinking of the tiny seeds they had planted together: this was just the beginning. Now, dear friend, if you've been touched by this journey, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories that will lead your spirit. This is the moment to show your support and help us spread God's message further. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and ensure others can find the light we share. We want to hear your reactions. Comment below with your thoughts and testimonies about this impactful ending, and don't wait even one more second to share this beautiful manifestation with at least 5 friends who need to see the love that awaits them.